All right, hey folks, we're going to do some artwork today. I just launched the I just fired up the channel here at the intro, so I need to fetch my link and do some really fast social media posts. That takes less than a minute, but if you're catching us in the future, you are welcome to skip past this intro. Give it a minute jump, and then we should be past the bump. But for those that are here with me in time space here now, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And we're creating an adventure for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using 2024 rules. It's called Crystals of Mabar. This is the book cover that we created. I have the link. Let's drop that volume down so it's not intrusive. That looks good. Grabbing here. Let's tap that. I've got like 5 buttons left to press, and then we'll get started. So we've been grinding on this adventure for a couple years now, and we're done with all the maps, all the tokens. We're down to like the last 8 interior illustrations for the book, and then we'll be done, and then we get to move on to the next book, which most of my books don't typically take years to produce. I just didn't know what kind of a mess I was stepping into when I decided to make this thing. I didn't realize how much assets needed to coordinate with each other, how everything that was being taught. I knew that a control panel style approach where all the information that you need about a portion of the adventure should be on that page, like control panel style. All you have to do is look at the single page. So that took a long time for me to figure out how to do that. But now that I know that I can, I don't think it's going to take as long in the future for me to do that. This is the PDF format. It's 16 by 9. It fits horizontally across your 16 by 9 monitor, your tablet, your phone. And each individual column is also 9 by 16, so you can look at them full page as horizontal, single column vertically. And the entire book is built out that way. It's a 60,000 word adventure in total. It has 4 significant sized dungeons and a lot of extra what we call optional encounters that are threaded throughout different locations, depending on what you're doing with the storyline and the plot and where the characters are at. They can stumble into different small little little one-shot, like not really random encounters. They're optional encounters. Like they have a set position with set people, with a set activity that the players are performing, interacting with this encounter. And we also have random encounters. Like if you're moving from area A to B, this is the kind of crap you might run across, and on the way, here's an encounter, here's a specific encounter, here's a specific map that you can use between those 2 points to basically buff it out. And there's different resting points that we provide. It's we play tested the hell out of it. We had 3 DMs and like 6 groups, I think, that ran this. So I'm pretty happy with it. Right now, this is the last page of the Carnwood Forest, Section B. You can see I have the icons lit up down here. This first symbol here, that's the symbol of Mabar. If you click that, it takes you all the way back to the first page where the table of contents is that you can use to navigate the different portions of the adventure if you want. But all of these buttons, all of these down here, these symbols, these are all navigation buttons as well. So right now we're in part 1 inside the Carnwood. So if you click that button, that will then take you back to the beginning of the Carnwood Forest. So each of these icons are leading to different encounters and stuff, but they can you can always click on these navigation buttons to jump back and forth between different sections of the adventure to be able to move along with the players through the content. Like here we see there are 7 plague hounds at the base of the tree gathered around a fallen tree branch. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plague hounds. There's 2 NPCs that are trapped in the tree. This is the only set encounter in the Carnwood, and it's designed for your characters to rescue whoever these NPCs are, depending on what plot you are using. So they could be different people depending on what your backstory is coming into the place. And therefore, their responses and their activities are also going to be different. What type of stuff they have, and most importantly, what information they can provide the character. To keep sure, every one of them will help make sure they push further into the Carnwood in the direction of the Manifest Zone to get to where they need to be. And there'll be optional encounters along the way to help encourage those steps. They can just literally follow the path to the Manifest Zone for them to then. It feels railroady in that. It doesn't feel railroady in that sense. There is only one way to go, which is deeper into the forest. But the DM then can control which exterior ruins, dungeons, environment do they encounter first. So there's a ton of flexibility that's going on for the DM to be able to sequence things the way that you want to. But yeah, navigation buttons along the bottom. The entire document is now properly... all the text in the document are now properly hyperlinked. So everything is coming along really nicely there. I am thinking about what to put down here. This is such a small little patch of real estate that needs something fancy done to it. I'm just kind of thinking forest floor. Here, let's get, let's rearrange our shit a little bit. Oh, this is a bulky folder. There we go. That's maybe too receded, but... Okay, so what are we doing? These are a bunch of landscape photographs I grabbed off the internet. This is plague moss that grows and that replaces soil when the Manifest Zone becomes powerful enough to pump necrotic energy into the space. So the normal soil and vegetation and nutrients in the soil dies and is replaced with this gritty texture substance that when dried is like coffee grounds, and it can be used to make inks or compressed into objects for material components for darkness and undead necromancy spells. This is Vulpina Lotharia, which is a fungus that grows out of the plague moss and it releases a stinking cloud effect, like from D&D. The spell Stinking Cloud. These are black florets. These also spawn out of plague moss. You're either going to get Vulpina Lotharia or you're going to get black florets. Black florets are basically like necrotic dandelions. When these sprouts catch wind and fly free, wherever they hit, they will rot whatever space is there. Like they'll inject its necrotic energy from this little seed into the soil. It kills it, and then the plague moss spawns from there, and it continues to grow. Lotharia infects people with a disease, and if it kills you, your belly basically fills with this fungus and you explode, and then wherever it hits, that also grows and starts releasing patches of poisonous gas that infects whoever comes by. Like the plague hounds earlier got infected with Lotharia, and it's killing them and driving them mad. So good times, fun. All right, so let's see. What are we gonna do? I feel like just doing some forest floor type stuff, like forest environment that's melted away from the necrotic effect, and then this stuff is growing in the sluice remains. That's the idea. I think where I'm at. The general color theme for the Manifest Zone is black and green, like Golgari from Magic the Gathering, or a Witherbloom from Strixhaven. It kind of has that flavor. Oh, we'll go with. I kind of want to put a purplishness on it, like very mild. Okay, we'll go with that. I'm going to drop away the references for a moment. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I don't know what this is wants to be. I don't know what it's going to become. I'm here for the ride, just like you are. So, and to that note, if you think this stuff ends up being fun, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. I've already published a lot of books on the DMsGuild. They all have links here in the description down below, and all of the books have a 100% free preview. They're chock full of my art and my ideas, so you are welcome to check those things out. And if you think they're cool, you can join our Discord channel and get involved in any future playtesting. I like this. I like the lighting on this. I like how it's smudging around. I got I got about an hour this morning to get some artwork done. We're down to after this, I think we're down to 7 illustrations that we need to make. So I've been working on stuff offline as well, the more boring stuff that you don't want to look at and watch and listen to. Or it's stuff that requires so much concentration that I can't just ramble and talk about stuff while I do it. It's not pushing pixels uses a different side of the brain than talking about stuff. So I can talk about stuff and push pixels at the same time. And the more I lose myself in the conversation, the more the painting does itself and just uses me as the instrument to produce whatever is out there in the collective wanting to be expressed through my art, which I love. And the deeper into the pixel flow that I get and allowing the intuitiveness of the creation process take over, the further out in conversation we can get into esoterics and weird tangents and see what sort of messaging wants to be said by the universe at the same time as expressing the art. It's a fun experience there where I get to become a passenger in the experience of production. It's super fun. So this is roughly the space that we have to play with. I don't know. Maybe groundwork. Maybe like a forest scene. We already did a rotted forest image, so we already have one of those. Something more groundwork, more close up, showing off the unique flora and conditions of the environment would probably be more entertaining over here. I'm just thinning this down so that it can maintain like a sloped angle sort of feeling to it. And I often do that by fading out the edges. And these are vignettes anyway, so they need to have their edges faded. But if I can break form like this and push it back, it'll have a sort of tilted downward look. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I can feel some topography in here, some unevenness of the ground. I think we'll have an opportunity to make something. These aren't going to be like deep, grandiose, portraits or anything. It's just little spot illustrations, just us messing around with stuff in the corner. Let's grab. $21, good. We're going to grab our fractal brush. And we're going to flatten it out to meet the angle of egress. I don't want the whole thing covered in crystal, but I do want to have just patches of it. Since a lot of the plants and like the environmental conditions are unique for the adventure, I think it's important for us to be providing illustrations of that terrain, and these little corner vignettes have been a great opportunity for me to to basically express the unique biome that gets created by the manifest zone. The artifact that's being used in this ritual, the Eye of Mabar. It's supercharging the manifest zone so that it's not just a mild like an accent on the environment being affected by Mabar currently. Instead, it's so powerful that it's literally terraforming the forest into what Mabar would be like there. And once if it expands, embeds and sustains long enough, this deeper level of manifestation, it becomes permanent, and it'll open a direct two-way portal to the plane of Mabar that you could cross through either way. And that's the goal. That's the big goal, to be able to create this enclave of Mabar in the forest that will specifically change the environment so that they can, the necromancers, the Emerald Claw that are performing this operation, are able to harvest these materials for alchemical processing, conversion, sale, exploit utilization. I can hear myself a little bit too much. Let's see if I can fix down this. There we go. That's better. So yeah, right now I'm just patching in some of these little, like this is, come on. There we go. This is the ground. Pardon the pun. This is the groundwork for us expressing how this soil gets changed. So we're starting off with these little gristly pockets of grit, and then we're going to overlay moss. I'm going to actually grab this. I want to shorten that up a little bit. Free transform. Thank you. Let's squanch it a little bit. Like that. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I like those little patches. Let's just leave those be where they're at. I think I want to make a little bit more interesting groundwork. This is a little too dense. This should be a little lighter. It looks like an object that's been overgrown with foliage, but it was supposed to just be a bush. I think it was supposed to be a bush. And I could also strengthen the shadow inside here. Overall, it looks pretty good, but when you zoom into the little details, like it's little nitty bits that could be improved. Oh well, another day. It's good enough. I'm not going to come back and mince on this. It's not supposed to, it's not a masterpiece, but it's a decent little environment piece. I'm pretty happy with it. So I don't think I need to mess around with that. Let's change up the brush that we're using. I don't need to use more crystal. Let's go to our mountain chisel. And let's grab our guitar pick smudge brush. That's good for pushing, not blending. This is a really good brush for pushing pixels around. The other smudge brush that we were using earlier to create this dispersed undercolor. That's our cloud brush, which is really good at dispersing pixels. This is good at pushing pixels. That one's good at dispersing pixels. Different function, but they're both the smudge tool. It's just different brush techniques to use to push or smudge. Push or blend. Sorry, those are the words I want. I want to make a little puddle. That's what I've decided I want to do here. So I think it'll look fun. It's raining a lot. It's early autumn, or rather, it's mid autumn in the region. So they began harvesting, but it also leads to a lot of rain in the area. So I want to make little puddles and splashes. So I'm making an indent into the ground, a drop in elevation that water will just naturally pool into. So I'm creating I'm defining the borders of the sunken land. We'll probably put like a patch of mushrooms, just to create a little kind of a scale reference. Here, and then we're gonna push this down like a slope. Back here, it's less because there's this miasmic fog that fills the environment, obscures vision over short distance. So characters, while they're the thicker the fog gets, the less visibility the characters have. The more, but the undead aren't affected by the fog that hangs in the space at all. They don't see it. It's like fish in water. It's a necrotic haze in the environment. So the undead don't see it. It doesn't block their view. So they can see you like 300 feet away, but you can only see them like 40 feet away. So that's terrifying. You can hear sounds and grufflings and bated breathing and footsteps and stampedes occasionally of a footfall. Moving towards you, and you don't know what it is that's coming at you until it gets there. But it's already been looking at you for a while. There's like wraiths and specters that are incorporeal that can fly, but they don't see. The mist doesn't obscure their vision either, so they can just be hanging over you, waiting for you guys to be distracted to drop down and snatch somebody and kill them. So a lot of fun, hostile shit going on in the environment. It was a lot of fun to develop. And of course, if you don't have light, it's worse. But most of the environment has patches of the Vulpina Litharia fungus that is naturally glows. So it provides patches of it throughout the area. Provides ready light, dim light, not good light. It's dim light, but it permeates the fog and it disperses disperses through the fog, and basically creates like this highlighting throughout the area. So we'll probably put some like a little patch of Litharia over here, maybe some mushrooms here, moss all around. Right now, we're just working on this little indent. It's going to help us put some water in there for a closer look. Push those up into the soil. That feels good. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Let's grab this patch and bring it closer. There, that feels good. And then I can pull this embankment into that gritty pile. Yeah, like that. That feels pretty good. We'll do the same over here. I'll put some under lighting to help push this in. There we go. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good. I'll do the same over here. Just push it into the space a little so the edges become gristly. And we can fade it in just by smudging it up a little bit more. No, this is actually probably appropriate. Let's go with this. I'm going to erase on this edge a little bit so it gets mixed into that little crystal colony there. You should probably spread this out. More like that. That feels good. I like that. And let's shore this up a little bit. Let's shallow it up a little. Like that. Yeah, okay. I like how this is looking. Okay, that's a neat little depression in the ground, right? So let's hit save real quick, and let's go fishing. Yeah, this is the right place. Art, Act 2, Manifest Zone, optional encounters is what I want. Whoa, trash. So now I'm going to layer some of this color here. So that we can align our coloring with the maps and the environments. I'm basically just here. I'll zoom in a little bit. I'm using the brush. I'm grabbing and pulling down, and I'm pushing up on the same angle of the brush strokes, and then I'm going across to blend them in like that. Push that down like that. There. So now we are basically painting the rendering as a 3D environment the two-dimensional map that we were just looking at. So this is just going to be a really close look. There we go, like that. That feels good. There might be a nitpicky to you, but it's just the details sell the piece. Nice. There we go. Yeah, I'm not really rambling about anything right now. Sorry, guys. It's I guess I'm just in a moment of peace. So all the text is hyperlinked now in the actual Word document that we use to build this thing. So that means I can now transition into I'll start importing the map pages into the documents and hyperlinking those. And so we're gonna be streaming tonight, but we're gonna be streaming Spelljammer Eberron campaign prep because we're making a Spelljammer Eberron campaign, and I've been streaming its full production. I think we're on the 20th episode tonight of developing the mecha, the carrier ship, the asteroid communities that are being attacked by the kaiju themselves. The structure and resources of the different asteroid communities that are being attacked. So we still have a few asteroid. I think we have like 3 asteroid communities left to map. So we're going to map an asteroid tonight and talk about whatever it is that comes up involving them. And so the plan is to start an Eberron Spelljammer campaign on my Discord server that's linked down below. To start that maybe like late March, maybe into April, somewhere around there. So we've been developing mecha kaiju mechanics as player and DM supplement, but now I want to run a campaign utilizing those rules to make sure the mecha style of play is sufficiently fun to inject into somebody's 5e campaign, like Escaflowne campaign, or I'm having a hard time thinking of other fantasy mech. Escaflowne really did a good job defining the fantasy mech space. I can't recall any other anime or shows offhand that have had a medieval setting with mecha. Escaflowne really is the front runner in my mind there. I mean, like a Neon Genesis Evangelion sort of flavor to it, that these monsters are attacking the community and we have to defend the city from being destroyed. And there's all these different little asteroid communities that are hundreds of miles apart from each other. So when a kaiju attacks, you got to fly fast to try to get there in time to save the community from getting damaged too much by the kaiju that are attacking or feeding on the community. So that's been it's been fun building out the logistics of how that sort of a campaign would run, and creating adventure seeds that makes it interesting for the characters to remain in that environment, dealing with kaiju as they descend upon the communities. Yeah, it feels pretty good. I'm gonna hit save there real quick. We're going to add in another layer. Color 1. Color 2. This is one of the just battle maps that we threw together. We have all this. This is like all of Letharia. Here's all the crystal grit. We have blank map, basically like blank map template, like platforms to place, and then like this puddle here, this is it's inserted. It's like a sticker that you drop over the ground environment. This is a gazebo. There's multiple gazebos in the environment that have been unearthed by the rotting vegetation falling away, crumbling cobblestone. A crumbling wall that surrounds this would have at one point been like a decent little shrine area, but it's corroded so far over hundreds of years, and now being destroyed by the necrotic effects of the manifest zone. But these are puddles of water that accumulate that will poison you if you, like, literally, like the poison condition if you get into that area. But if you're fighting undead on this little vignette map, then they could be splashing their way through the puddles, not caring about the disease or not, because they're undead. So it becomes a hazard that the characters need to contend with that their enemies don't necessarily care about at all. So it's fun. It's fun challenge adventure design. We're just gonna fill this in with that base watercolor, and then we'll figure out where the little rivulets of water dribbling in would come from, and then shape the color swirls accordingly. This isn't intended to like illustrate this. I'm just using the same color references from this. Each one of these squares here is 5 feet, and I suspect that this square here is around 5 feet. So like this is a small area, like a really close up of the ground of like what this place looks like. But there's puddles all over the place because it's the rainy season, and the necrotic effects of the manifest zone are destroying the soil. So like sinkholes and potholes are showing up, making the place more swampy and waterlogged than it otherwise would have been while the forest remained in place. Because the root structure and all the underground stuff absorbs the water, and it doesn't pool like it would like in just like mud flats, for instance. So the intent is to make a sort of swampy mud flat sort of feeling while trudging through this environment. It's difficult terrain while you're in that goop. So everything about this place is hostile and slows your movement down. Of course, the undead aren't fazed by any of this. So your visibility is limited, your movement is limited, but the enemy that wants to eat you has far more visibility. Like they don't have, their vision is obscured by the fog, and there's a lot of incorporeal undead in the region, and which is immune to the difficult terrain condition. So it can just literally just float through this stuff without being phased, and you don't see them coming until they're right on you. And then they drain your hit points or your strength or your will to live. So happy fun time. That's why we make it. That's why we make it for 7th and 8th level characters, because they're going to take a lot of environmental and hazard damage throughout the course of the adventure. Even the mobs are hazards. When you get attacked by 8 zombies, they aren't attacking you one zombie at a time. We have the mob mechanics for D&D instead of a way to group up and have multiple creatures attack you in short order. Like mobs are efficiency ideas in the Dungeon Master's Guide, where if you have a whole bunch of monsters, just make one die roll and then add a modifier to see if you hit or not based on how many creatures there are. Instead, what we do is, but if they're low level creatures, they're still not going to hit a high armor class. That's the way that the game is intended to be played. So it's a good mechanic. It's just clunky to use and slows gameplay down because there's too much math involved with mobs using it the way that's in the DMG. It's just like it needs a chart. So what we did instead was based on the number of creatures that are in a mob, it becomes a saving throw for you to avoid being damaged. They aren't actively attacking you. There's so many of them in the mob that they're going to hit you. Now it becomes an evasion saving throw, like a dexterity saving throw, to try to stay out of getting mobbed by them. So you might get clawed or bit by one or two of them. But if you succeed the saving throw, you'll automatically take a little bit of damage. But if you fail the save, they literally overwhelm you and tackle you and hold you down and start chewing on you. And then so you automatically take damage until you can get away from them, which is a horrible fate. Let's grab this darker bit here. So all throughout the adventure, your 7th, 8th level characters are fighting like CR1, CR half, like things that are super weak that first level characters on their own can take care of. But when you group them all up together, they'll do, like if you get into a big mob of ghouls, they'll do 20 points of damage to you every round automatically until you get away from them, or 10 points of like for half damage. So 10 to 20 points of damage automatically every round that a mob of ghoul are coming at you and you're within reach of them. So you got to knock them down quick before they, because they'll tear through. An 8th level wizard has probably like around maybe 45 hit points. So if you get caught out by a pack of by a mob of ghouls, they will end you in 3 rounds. Unless you're a barbarian, you got like maybe 5 rounds. On one person, not per person. So a mob will generally tackle and start mauling one person. And then the job becomes the rest of your team peeling the mob off of your friend who's been tackled before they're killed. So they're hazards. It's not normal combat. You have to use combat to kill the creatures, but while they still live, they will mob together and just dogpile somebody. That's the threat of mobs, is that they just crawl all over you and you can't avoid taking damage from them. Then it's just a matter of, can I keep away from being touched? Like rogues evasion, monks evasion, where if they succeed at a dexterity saving throw, they take 0 damage. Those are the tanks against mobs. And so, which is great, because if they can kite and strafe the mobs and avoid being damaged by them, then the fighters and the area of effect damage dealing wizard sorcerer types have a chance to whittle down the party, but it's exhausting resources to do it. So it's an attrition game. It's fun. It's fun as a DM to deplete their resources and get players to the point where it's like, hey, let's retreat. Hey, Gabby, it's good to see you. Sorry, I didn't see you step in. But yeah, fun adventure. Very dangerous. You want to have mid-level characters with enough hit points that they can survive getting mobbed a couple times for them to try to hole up somewhere and get a rest. Which is what, as a DM, you want to do. You want to create a hostile enough environment. They have to expend resources to explore and traverse the region. Give them a compelling enough reason to stay in the area, and they'll put up with it and start finding ways to mitigate the risk. And that becomes a tactical challenge. The environment itself, the hazards that are in the region themselves are a tactical challenge. A puzzle, if you would, a tactical puzzle, where they're trying to figure out how are we going to work as a group to get these mobs from hitting our squishy full caster back line. How can we kite them? How can we control their movement? If they're within reach of multiple people, they'll break up into smaller mobs so they deal less damage. So you can conquer. You can divide and conquer. Oh my God. Welcome to, so you're on the East Coast. Right on. Yeah, knowing that it's 7:30 here in Seattle, I get up basically at 6 and pull myself together to go online and stream like this every morning. So I don't have the luxury of, not saying that you are luxuriating it all, but like I used to be a late night person, and I used to live 20 minutes away from where my day job was at. So I could sleep into like 7:30, jump the bus, and be at my desk downtown in basically 30 minutes. So that was super convenient for me. Very much love that. But now I moved out to the outer suburbs to fight the inflating cost of rent in Seattle. And so now I'm an hour and a half away from my day job, but I became a remote worker, so I only have to go into the office once a month. So now I can wake up at 6:30 in the morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is earlier than I normally used to do. But I can do artwork like this in the morning before I log on to my day job or go downtown or go to a meeting someplace, depending on whatever it is that I need to do. But I basically do data analysis for lead generation for a marketing agency. So it's a mathy, number crunchy, data processing type of job. It's not other than interacting with clientele. It's not a very creative job. So most of my creative needs get fulfilled by the artwork that I do and book creation that we do here on stream. And so that creative process is really important to me. So I do that. My first thing in the morning is do something creative, reward my need to produce art. Like, make that my top first priority of my day, and then the rest of my day I can spend appreciating that I have the opportunity to make art first in my day. Because for a long time that was not the case. I'd come home and hope I had the energy to get artwork done. So once this change happened, it's been a significant miracle in my life that I never want to take for granted. So I sleep in, so I go to bed early to make sure that I can get up early to jump on stream and get shit done. Otherwise, my muse is going to be screaming at me inside my heart. What are you doing? Where are you at? What is going on? Shit like that. Let's leave this little posh mark here like this. There's things popping up down here. There it is. Interesting. I have a delay over here on my chat channel. This chat channel actually populated this response sooner than I saw it. Huh. Anyway. Should have drawn my old art pieces from 2019 and the art pieces prior to 2023 despite any flaw. Yeah, I like a lot of my old art too. There's a quaintness. Like, as you get better in skill and you see the flaws, some pieces still remain good. At some point, you'll get good enough that you won't immediately hate all of your art, but you'll still find flaws and want to fix it. But it's nice. I've been illustrating professionally for 27 years, and just just for fun since I was like 5. Like, I've always been an artist. I've always drawn, and once I got into painting, I always paint. It's been nonstop for 40 years. So I've been around the block for a little while, and I know that as the skill continues to improve, some pieces just always remain looking good, regardless of how much more advanced you get in technique. Some pieces are it's just good art. And it just looks cool, regardless of what level of skill is created at. Sometimes you just make a good piece that just sustains itself as looking good. All right, we're fading out so we have hard edges here, and we're fading that out. And we're going to overlay this with another layer to create like a slickness, like to make a slick feeling. Oh, Morrowind! No kidding. How fun. I never played Morrowind. I stopped playing video games. A long time ago. I occasionally would, for a while, I would occasionally dip in and play some sort of a game that I thought was interesting. Like on Xbox, I was a big fan of Gauntlet Legends and Dead or Alive, the fighting game. On Xbox, I was a huge fan of Battle Arena Toshinden, but that was pretty much like literally the only game I ever played on PlayStation. I never got into WoW. It was just like, it was either I was going to spend my time playing WoW or I was going to spend my time playing D&D. I'm not going to do both.
I didn't have the time the time budget to do both. So I was like, okay, I'm sticking with D&D. The first hour and a half I spent in World of Warcraft was like collecting wolf pelts and goblin ears. And it's like, is this what it's going to be like for the entire? Yeah, it is. Okay, never mind. I just couldn't resonate with it. But oh, and Fable on Xbox. I love playing Fable. Sid Meier's Civilization 5 specifically was my jam. All the other civilizations before or after, the ones before it were a little meh, and then the ones after Civilization 5 got overcomplicated and kind of feature bloated. So Civ 5 to me was really just peak Civilization gameplay. That I played some League of Legends for a while, and but I was horrible at it. I either would jungle or top or mid. Never got into carrying. I do a little bit of support, but mostly solo work, and it was only okay. It was a fun game, but it was high skill. I have slow reflexes. I have a very low dexterity in the real world. So not good eye-hand coordination, not good reflexes. RTS games and battle arena games really aren't my jam. And then I got into Path of Exile, and an action RPG. I absolutely love that game, but it was requiring too much time and attention for me to really stay on edge. So I backed away from that game as overall as just a general time suck. And then I really got into building. Then I really got into making books. Really, really into it. Oh, I wanted to make a new layer. So I'm going to honor that. Let's make a new layer. Hit save. There we go. My words are clipping. Little lizard girl, nice. There we go. Now I'm properly seeing text, and it's still overlapping a little bit. Sorry, I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking tile management. There we go. There we go. Back on track. So just creating little puddles, little splashes inside this puddle here. And we'll overlay this, we'll put a splash of dark over here, and we'll smudge that out. But it'll be they're overlapping, so they create this slick oiliness, which is the feeling that we want for this space. So over here we have the forest piece that we did. And has this necrotic fog. So this necrotic fog, we're going to have hints of that drifting through this little puddle area over here. But I'm just basically, it's just a small little environment vignette piece. It's just fun to do. It's flavor text, just a little flavor. You get a feeling of what what the terrain is like. I get to play with lighting a little bit and some textures. It's a lot of fun. So blend that out, see how that goes. It has this neat layering effect. I still like the name Jula, even though it's literally just Jewel. Oh, yeah. I see the pronunciation. I like it too. I like the name Morgan a lot. I don't know why. Morgan, it has this meatiness to it, this earthy meatiness to it. I don't have any daughters, but if I did, I would have wanted to name her Morgan. Morgan Kearney sounds cool. Morgan Kearney, it's kind of that rolls off the tongue. No kids here, though. Yeah. All right, we'll come back over here and we'll mess with this a little bit. And then we'll add on another layer just to create a little bit more slickness. And then we'll put in some, we'll see about doing some impact ripples for rainwater. There we go. So yeah, I do artwork like this Monday through Fridays in the morning. I love doing environment art, but I do a lot of character art, monster art, items, environment areas. Everything that you would need to do to make an adventure. I'm blessed that I was an illustrator first and then became interested in game design. So I have the skill set to be able to illustrate my own books, which is an utter joy to do. So on Mondays and Thursday nights like tonight, we generally do game design and product production. Right now we're doing all the technical bits for a Spelljammer campaign to have asteroid communities in space among the moons around the planet of Eberron. So it's an Eberron Spelljammer campaign, basically taking like the nation of Droam, the Pirates of the Lazar, Thrain, taking like these nations and like giving them asteroid communities, like they're colonizing the asteroid fields around the planet and among the moons of Eberron. So that's the premise of the campaign, that the cultures are the nations are starting to populate the asteroid belts, and there's monsters out there. And they're using the asteroids, like they're mining the asteroids for materials. And if you delve too deep into an asteroid, it cracks open, and there's Kyber inside. Kyber is the mythic dungeon aspect of the Eberron campaign setting, where evil metastasizes inside the body of the dragon Eberron, which is what the world is made from. So it's a cool, it's like the Underdark is like an evil cancer that's eating away at the spiritual body of the world Eberron, represented as a dragon. Kyber is a dragon. Sybaris is a dragon above. So in orbit around the planet of Eberron, the dragon Eberron, is where Sybaris flies, and that is represented as the asteroid belts that are basically small little pockets of earth and crystal and precious metal. So you send colonies up there to mine the rocks and to harvest material, and it causes small cities and towns and field crops and the rocks that have forests and vegetation build up. It can be cultivated like settlers. So there's all these little settlements on the asteroids, but they're attacked by kaiju occasionally. So you need to defend them. So we create the mecha that act as warriors to fight these giant creatures that are in the murky depth of the orbits of Eberron. Word salad. Yeah, so far so good. I like this. I feel like I'm messing this up though. Let's take this back 100 steps and see where we were and try this again. I don't think this current course is adding any value, so I'm going to nip it now before we get too deep. There. Okay, back to where we once were. Oh, I like this. I like this little curl around here, this little swirl that's not quite interacting with each other, that feels watery. I like that. Yesterday, we finished the Mystic Arts Unearthed Arcana conversion into the Color Mana system that we developed. I am happy with how those are sitting. But that the Color Mana revisions for 2024, it's about time for me to start building those out into reformatting the book. We made and we published the Color Mana Spell Point variant rules like at the end of 2018, I think. Yeah, I like that. That feels good. All right, I'm going to add in another layer again on top of this. Stacking up multiple layers is a good way to create like a sense of like murky depth. Hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate it here, like, you know, with some sort of proficiency. But yeah, so once this book gets finished, and this thing is going to be done like in 2 weeks. Like, it's very, very, like, we're down to 7 illustrations left. Granted, there are going to be some doozy illustrations that, like, there's some decent spaces that we're going to have to fill. Like, basically have like a half page illustration that it turns out that I'm going to need to do, and that's going to take a little time to do. So maybe 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. We'll see. But I'm getting really, really close to being done. Like I said, we just finished all the hyperlinking, all the text in the book. Now I'll be importing the dungeon maps into the document, so we can start hyperlinking the dungeon room locations on the maps to navigate around the map. That's boring. You guys aren't going to enjoy watching that. It's a very slow, boring process that requires too much of my attention to ramble about stuff. So it's just going to be, it's like when I go quiet here occasionally and I stop talking about stuff, and a pause and reflect happens. It's like that the entire 4-hour block that I'll spend on editing or page design or whatever it is that you would call that. I want to make a smooth, semi-transparent gradient here. This is another chance for me to make like a little swirly thing. What time is it? 7:48? Yeah, I got like 5 minutes left. So we won't have this piece finished today. We're going to come back and we're going to finish this piece tomorrow. I stream artwork like this Monday through Fridays in the morning every week for like the past 3 years. And so I'm pretty consistent about it. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And then this evening, again, we're going to be working on the Spelljammer campaign that we're putting in orbit around Eberron, with Kaiju and Mecha defending these asteroid communities. We have 6 asteroid communities in the cluster where the team is going to call home and start the adventure. And from there, they'll have the opportunity to spread. But we're still finishing up the last few. We have 3 more asteroid communities to map. And so we're going to do that. We'll probably get another one done tonight, another one done on Monday, and then we'll probably get the last one done on Thursday next week. I think episode 20. So we put about 60